All right, welcome guys to another video. Thank you for joining me. So this is going to be a short week for us. Only traded yesterday, Monday, and then today is Tuesday, January 27th, about noon right now. So we had a break-even week. I'm going to go through what happened, and I actually think this is going to be of a lot of value to you guys if you're actually trying to trade and learn how to be consistently profitable. I'm going to show you how I managed my risk. And we actually have some live footage as well today. A buddy of mine said that the live footage on episode 1.2 brought a lot of value, and my commentary explained things pretty well. So I think we're going to keep that going forward. The structure of these videos is going to be similar, but I'm going to explain it right now. So we're going to come in, do our intro. We're going to go through the stats, and then we are going to talk about some education stuff, some some thematic pieces that maybe could help you guys, and then we are going to go through the live trades. So that's going to be the structure moving forward. So let's go through the stats right now. So this week, again, we are break even. I mean, we're up, about $200, but it's a short week, only 2 days of trading. So unfortunately, we can't capitalize on, the upside. But I thought that this week had a lot to offer you guys in terms of education. So something I think it'll be good to talk about yesterday first. So yesterday, what ended up happening is so I did take some trades in the overnight session. So this is where we ended up yesterday, negative $412 on the day. But what ended up happening is we started the day off with a pretty good winner. Then we had a losing trade, which brought us back to break even. And in between those two trades, there was one trade that I really, really liked, which I'm going to put a footage of me trying to enter in the live section. We could not get filled on that trade. And then the market started really chopping. And, the last 2 days have been pretty difficult to trade because my strategy does well, in high volatility, in sustainable trends, broad channels, and broad trading ranges. And we've just had pretty tight channels, not a lot of movement. Market's been slow. So it's been a little annoying, but, you still have to trade through these days and you can still win, as I'll show you we did today. But as you can see, this is the most important thing. We took this loss. After not being able to fill down that good trade that I liked, then we had a break-even trade, which ended up winning. So I shouldn't have gotten out break-even, but I thought we got trapped, and I thought the right thing to do was to exit. And I actually think it was the right thing to do, but the trade ended up working. So after these 3 trades, at this point, I was kind of, I wasn't tilted, but I was like, I knew that the day was going to be a little, we're going to have to grind a little bit. And as you can see, we tried to. So what ends up happening in my strategy, and I'm going to explain my full strategy, I think in a separate video. It's very simple. I have a Word document with all the stuff on it. But in my strategy, if you ever go into drawdown, what you do is you half your risk. So we're trading 2 contracts on this day. And as I mentioned, with one contract, you're risking $250 per day. And then with 2 contracts, if you scale up, you're risking $500 per day. So once we went into drawdown of minus $250, I don't want to hit that my daily loss limit again, quickly, immediately after that, because our strategy relies on a high win rate and understanding the market cycle and trying to use the win rate to draw to create value. And so what I did is I ended up I half my size. So if I ever lose and I'm in drawdown, I half my position size so that if I lose again, it's not a big loss and we can slowly inch our way back. So that's what you see here. I half my size, and again, had a bad trade, but I did half my size. So here we're minus 250. We halved our size. We lost 137 on the next trade. Unfortunate. That's how it goes. And then we are slowly clawing our way back to break even, because what can happen is if you enter drawdown and you half your size, well, first of all, if you enter drawdown and you trade the full size, you are going to get stopped out if you make another mistake. But if you half your size, you stay calm, you're not as stressed, you can slowly claw your way back to break even, which, as you can see, we actually did make our way back to break even. And on a lot of good days, you'll end up even profiting and entering green for the day. But we ended up getting back to break even. And then we just had, I think, a little bit of bad psychology on my part. You know, I was, I'm going to London today, and I've been packing, preparing some things. And I really probably wouldn't have traded my larger account on a week like this, because I'm excited to visit my friends, and my head's not really in the market, but I started making these videos and I want to be very consistent, and so I kind of forced myself to trade. But no excuses. We ended up getting all the way back to break even, and then ending the day at minus $412. So what ends up happening here is the day ends here. These 3 trades are the overnight session, and as you can see, we made, I think, $240. This is all one trade. Ninjatrader sometimes likes to split it up into individual contracts, but this is all one trade. But as you can see, we're slowly inching our way back. So I just want to show you guys, and this is the main point here. We had a 65% win rate, which is actually pretty decent depending on the strategy you're trading. But I want to just explain how hard it was for a losing day to really get me. So because we limited our position size and we are trading smaller, and we're trying to use our knowledge and use the market, what we know about what the market is trying to do to win back our money, it's really hard for a losing day to really hit our loss limit. And then on the other side, if you look at today, we made back our full loss. So you actually have to look at this week, but we actually made back our full loss from yesterday, and we're in the green, $225, with, again, the same win rate. But how easy is it for, how hard was it for us to have a bad day because we limited our size and stuck with our daily loss limit? And then how easy was it for us on a good day to just make it all back? That's the kind of thing that I think, the more you trade and the more you understand risk management, you'll get these really easy winning days, and on the bad days, you'll sometimes even be able to scratch your way back. But we ended up green on the week. Again, about $200. Not a crazy week. I wish we had the next 3 days to really capitalize and grow the account even more, but it's okay. I think my psychology has been a little off because I'm not used to recording these trades live, and it's I'm not used to hitting a play or a record button and then managing my trade. And psychologically, it's something I'm gonna have to get used to, but I'm going to do it for the sake of the channel. I think you guys really it helps for you guys to see, but also it's just exciting, I think, for the viewers. So I'm going to keep doing it. But yeah, these are the stats. Our win rate is lower naturally because we had some drawdown yesterday. But I just want to, again, it's risk management is essential. If you want to be consistently profitable, risk management is absolutely essential. So if we go back to our, let's show the full account from where we're at now. So from where we started to now. So again, we are now with excluding commissions, we're up 2.2K. This is the P&L distribution. Win rate is sitting slightly below 80%, which is fine with me. It's absolutely okay. We're going to try to get this up. We had bad market structure the last few days, and that's why I think win rate was down a little bit. It's no big deal. We will get it back, and we're going to keep pushing the account forward towards the $50,000 goal. So one last thing that I wanted to speak about before we get into the live trades is I wanted to talk a little bit more about psychology. Psychology is everything, guys. Your body and your mind work together whether you know it or not, to make sound decisions. And when you're trading, this entire activity is based on making sound decisions, and everything matters, whether you think it does or not. You can take it from me. Sleep matters, nutrition matters, caffeine matters, exercise matters. Like, are you getting enough exercise? Are you moving your body, getting endorphins? Are you well rested? All of this stuff comes together and it helps you make sound decisions. If you don't have enough sleep, you're more likely to make rash decisions. It's just an objective fact. If you don't have, if your body isn't in shape, you're more likely to make poor decisions because, by nature of, being disciplined. Even if you don't like working out, just do something. Go on a walk, do something that you don't want to do, because trading is a lot of doing what you don't want to do. Sitting here patiently, not taking setups that you think are bad setups. It's all discipline, and the more things you do in life that you don't like doing, the better you're going to be at things that you do like doing, and in activities that, where that skill is necessary. So I just want to talk to you guys. Really, don't underestimate the power of your psychology. Don't underestimate the power of sound decision making under good circumstances. I mean, just look at this. Like, there was bad decision making on this day. Like, I was tilted from not being able to. I had a beautiful trade here, which we're going to talk about. Had a trade here that I could not get filled on, which annoyed me. Which honestly, if I wasn't making these series and if I wasn't live recording, it probably wouldn't have annoyed me. But again, it impacted my psychology, and I want to show you guys good trades, and I want to show you guys what success looks like. And I got tilted. I forced this trade, which is not a good trade in my opinion. And then we got out of this trade break even. Then a good trade. This was a good trade, but it went bad. So again, my psychology is disturbed. So don't underestimate the power of psychology. Please listen to it. Listen to how you feel in the morning. Get a good sleep. Sleep is everything. But before we exit, I just want to talk about one more thing. I wanted to talk about how a good setup isn't everything, and how you can use multiple factors to create a high probability trade. So for example, I've been doing this. I've been marking the chart on setups that I think could teach you guys quite a bit. So what we had here is a spike in a channel, and we're clearly working up, and we saw the second entry long. And a second entry long isn't enough to just enter, because, for example, if you look at this is the first entry, this is the second entry long, and it would have failed. Or actually here, so this is a double top. So this was the first entry long, second entry long, it would have failed. So you can't just take any setup because it's a setup. You need to combine multiple different factors into a setup to make it high probability. So, let's just assume that a second entry long has like a base probability of winning of 60%. So you add other things into it. So number one, the most basic thing and the strongest thing that you can do when trading is trade with the trend. So the market is going up, you only look for longs. So you trade with the trend. So we bought. So that's the first thing. Second thing, we're bouncing off the EMA. We're above the EMA. I'll lock that in. That's good. POC, the point of control, which is this line right here, this yellow line, was at this point in the day right below this. So we're bouncing off the POC. Another thing in our favor. There's buy volume as soon as we entered, triggered some buying volume, again, in our favor. And then also break a trend line. My trend channel, I think, was like maybe more like this, using this line before. So this is what I mean, a break a trend line. Usually when a trend line breaks, when a channel breaks, there's an attempt to make a new high. So we broke out of here and it made a new high. And if you want to even use this, here's another example. Channeling up, break of the trend line, and attempt to make new high. Here is the same thing, but we had a bigger pullback. Channeling up, break, this is too much of a break, but then attempt to make a new high. So that's what I mean. So here we had 5 different things outside of just a setup that allowed this trade to be profitable and a good trade. So another example I want to talk about quickly is here. So this was today's trading. Market opened around here. We had clearly a trading range. Broke out of the trading range, and about 80% of breakouts of trading ranges will fail. So we pushed back into the trading range, but with a lot of strength and absorption of sellers, and an initiation of buying from this point right here from buyers. So market pushed up. We had a first entry short, second entry short, where it ticked right below here and it failed. And I want to show again, the market was pushing up. We were held here by the EMA. That's one thing. Failed second entry short off of a reversal, which is another high probability setup. So we entered off of here. There was absorption of sellers, a third thing. And then again, the POC was at this level early in the day, which we bounced off of. So that's four things that caused this trade to be successful off of this context. So I hope those examples give you some insight into like how you can't just take a trade because it's a trade. You have to combine different factors into your trade to give it the highest amount of probability. So yeah, talked about the psychology and talked about this aspect, which was the two things I wanted to talk about in terms of education. And then now we'll get into the live footage, and I'll do some commentary over and explain what I was thinking. All right, catch you guys in the live footage. All right, so here's the recording of the first trade of Monday, the one that we had some notes on. As you can see, right after I entered, we got to the order flow confirmation that buyers were entering the market, and we're just patiently waiting to get filled. We're looking for a target at the high of the most recent swing up. Also, just got back from London yesterday night, and I think I caught a bug either in the airport or while I was there, and if my voice sounds a little low, that's why. But as you can see, market's working higher here, and I think we get filled here in a quick sec. This was a very high probability trade. We have so many things going in our favor here, and I think there we go, we got filled on that one. All right, so this was when I said I really liked the trade, but I couldn't get filled on it, and the trade ended up working. This is what happened. So sometimes the market moves really quickly, and if you're using limit orders, you don't get filled. So a lot of people will just hit sell the market, but I like to enter at a price, even if you're saving like one tick on your entry and you do that for like 12 trades, in theory, you're like saving money in the long run. So as you can see, we're waiting for a break lower here. And there we go. And I placed my order, and it came back and did hit our price. But as you can see, we don't get filled on this, and the market starts moving down pretty sharply, which is pretty sad. But we're still waiting to see if it'll come back, and I think at this point we have to exit, because if it goes lower than that low and turns up, you really don't want to be in that, considering that the market just rallied. This is an example of a good trade going bad. So we actually have a pretty good entry at a pretty key level, and we're looking to take the market short. We even get more order flow, more big selling coming in, but as you can see, we just hit that POC and we get rejected at that price. And this is just an example of a good trade. Like this trade is, most of the time it probably would work, but just unlucky. Sometimes, things don't always go in your favor. But as you can see right now, we're starting to get selling absorption, and the market starts reversing off of our entry. And it's in moments like this where you have to really be patient, and it can be frustrating to see a good trade like this go bad, but that's all a part of trading. So just be patient and let the trade play out. even here, you can see it's trying to work lower, but the sellers are just getting absorbed. And then we just quickly start pushing up. And at this point, you know, even at this point, there's a possibility that we do start trading back lower, because you have to assume that there's still sellers, in this right now. But the market quickly rallies and pushes up higher, and we get stopped out here. All right, so this is just like, I want to show you guys how I separate my trades based on the risks that I want to take. So I always have an A plus setup, and then a setup, and then for if you ever have a first losing trade as the first trade of the day, then you have a half risk setup. And that's so obviously, like I mentioned earlier, you limit your risk on the downside when you're in drawdown. And it's just very important, important to manage your risk and be very strict about it. All right, so this is an example of a very nice swing trade setup we took. This was after we had to reduce our size due to being in drawdown, and as you can see, the market really starts rallying pretty quickly here. And what I'm actually going for, even though the limit order is very high, is I want to see a quick move up near at least the halfway point between the most recent high and the most recent low. And we're looking to take some profits at that level. So as you can see, the market stalls here for a second. We're now pushing above the EMA. And we start accelerating at this point. Unfortunately, this was only, half our size, but this would have been a beautiful trade had it been full size. But this is an example of a nice little swing trade.